Student, this is third lecture on leasing concept, and in this lecture I'll give you an illustration to understand operating or capital lease. As you have seen in the previous two lectures that this is very important from finance and accounting point of view to understand whether the lease you are dealing with is related to operating lease or it can be considered as a capital lease. So I hope that this illustration will give you a lot of support to understand the fundamental concept behind it. Let's say in this question, a company is taking a machine and the expected life is 6 years and the cost is 10,000, and company is taking it for 4 years with an annual payments of 2,500 due at the end of each year. It means that if I have to decide whether this uh, term and condition, whatever said by the company, should be considered as a operating lease or capital lease. So as we discussed in the previous lecture that there are certain criteria that if met by the question, then that type of transaction is taken as a operating or capital lease. The lessee can borrow at 4% per annum. Now the question is trying to give you idea whether it should be taken as operating or capital lease. So the fundamental things are given over here. The useful life of the machine is given, as well as the cost at which it is already available in the market. And this is also given that for how long company is planning to take this asset, and what annual payment will be paid by the company, and the discount rate which is given in the question. Now the question is, does the lease transfer ownership of the property to the leasee at the end of the lease term? So this was the first criteria that should be met by the company, and as you can see that this is not specifically given in the question, uh, and as you can see that question is related that the life of the asset is 6 years, but you can use it only for the 4 years, and it doesn't mention specifically that at the end of the life it should be transferred to the uh, leasing. The second condition, does the lease contain a bargain purchase option? So as you can see that this information is also not available in the question. It is not mentioned that at a throwaway price you can buy it back from the lessor. The third criteria which should be met by the lease transaction to be treated as a capital lease is that lease term equal to 75% or more of the estimated economic life of the property. So as you can go back to the question and you can see that uh, the machine life was 6 years while the company is taking it for 4 years. So if company is taking it for 4 years out of 6 years total life, and if we divide 4 by 6, you will get a percentage that is 66.67. It means that company is not meeting the criteria of 75% or more estimated economic life. The economic life for which company is taking this property or this machine is for 66% of the economic life, which is also not meeting the minimum criteria to be set for the capital lease option. The fourth condition, which was required, that the present value of the minimum lease payment, equal or exceeds 90% of the fair value of the property. So if we go back to the question and see that what is the lease payment decided. So company decided that they will pay 2,500 at the end of each year for the next 4 years, and the discount rate which is given in question is 4%. So if we convert this 2,500, and as you can recall from the concept of time value of money, that this payment can be taken as annuity. So if we convert this annuity in present value, we can see whether it is meeting the last criteria or not. So the last criteria, which if met by the machine of lease condition, we can consider it as capital lease is that the minimum lease payment equal or exceeds 90% of the value of the property. So first, I'm taking the annuity payment that is set in the question, and this is the annuity formula to convert. And as you can recall, you can also do it on Excel, and you can find out the present value of the annuity payment. Since this is ordinary annuity, so the similar formula is applied over here. So the present value is becoming 9,074. If you remember the question, the total estimated cost was 10,000. The present value of the annuity payment is coming 9,074. If you convert this information into percentage, it is more than 90%. It means that this situation is meeting. And since the last condition is meeting by the lease term, so we can consider this lease question or this lease situation as capital lease. So if you have to proper understand it, it is much better if you revise the previous lecture in which we discussed the four terms. That if any condition is met by the lease, then this can be taken as a capital lease. And as you can see, first condition is not meeting, second condition is not meeting, third I illustrated that this condition is not meeting, but the fourth condition, that the lease payment is exceeding the 90% limit, then we can consider this lease payment as a capital lease is meeting. Hence, we conclude that this situation is taken as a capital lease condition.